Not too sleepy. I hope y'all not too bored. I hope y'all not too boring, cause we're about to kick off another podcast, yo. 5:41 a.m. here on the West Coast, Northern California, Stockton, California to be exact, baby. My name is Cherry Franklin. This is the Cherry Franklin Show, early morning wake and bake show podcast where we get on here, check the news, talk about local events, local artists and productions, as well as stimulus funding, and talk to our viewers about the numerous various things that they have on their mind or they want to comment on. Thank y'all for being here, making me a top streamer, all of that, all of that, all of that, all of that. Again, 5:42 a.m. We're just now barely rolling up. So yeah, if you have not rolled a blunt, made a drink, a cup of coffee, or a sandwich, or fired up a square, now's the time to do so. Again, we're about to kick off at least a good 30-minute session, 20 to 30-minute session, including Facebook and YouTube here this morning. I want to remind y'all we're in the middle of a great stimulus check debate. We have two funding packages on the board with the White House. One is the Build Back Better Act, $1.75 trillion. One is the infrastructure bill, $1.25 trillion. We are going to go stalk whitehouse.gov and go see any updates they may have posted for us today here in about 20 minutes at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which would be 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, or special requests in regards to the government stimulus check funding, any state questions or things like that? Y'all make sure you leave it in the comments, and I'll be sure to try and get an answer to you by the end of the stream. Before we go any further, we do got a couple songs to play. The first one is the intro for the Cherry Franklin Show. If you are not already subscribed on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, please do so today. Y'all, no more excuses. We bring this light in a little bit brighter. No more excuses. Y'all, make sure you go follow our new YouTube page. Is up to, I believe, 61, 62 likes and subscribers for the 2022 Cherry Franklin Show. As you can see, it is not 2022 yet. So we're a little bit ahead of our goal and schedule, but it's never too early to get started on your goals. The sooner you start, the sooner you accomplish. Am I correct? Hey y'all, welcome in. Well, our hot meter was above 500 a few moments ago. Right now it's at about 400. Thank y'all for being here again and making me a top streamer. Before we play the intro to the show, the song is called Put It in the Air by Trapedo featuring me, Cherry Franklin. This song is on YouTube under The Cherry Franklin Show 2020. There are also a couple important videos on there that we are going to listen to as well. First, we're going to start off with the intro again. If you have not rolled a blunt, made a drink, a cup of coffee, or a sandwich, or fired up a square, now's the time to do so. Y'all, we're about to kick off the smoke session. We are about to roll 2 blunts back to back, but we are only going to smoke probably half a blunt and a cigarette. So y'all get ready to sit down and join. Let us know in the comment section, what is you smoking? What flavors are popular in your area? What is brand spanking new? And what is the best of the best of the best, sir? With honors, all of that, all of that, all of that. I don't know what this hair is doing on my face besides whatever it wants. But y'all, let's give it a listen. This is called Put It in the Air by Trapedo at SMC Global, featuring your girl, Cherry, the Mrs. Franklin, yours truly. Let's get these swishers rolled, y'all. This is it.
Hey, put it in the air, put it in the air, put it in the air, put it in the air. Everywhere I'm at, eyes on road, but I'm up there. Put it in the air, put it in the air, Put it in the air, put it in the air. We rolling up with sticker. Everywhere I'm at, smoke in the air. Yeah, we on the mid. We on go. I want the bag. Give me the cash. Go. Put it in the air, put it in the air. Put it in the air, put it in the air. We rolling up with sticker. Everywhere I'm at, smoke in the air. We rolling up with sticker. Y'all niggas be switching. My niggas sit back and listen. The whole team on the kitchen. Jet boy nigga on Greenland. When I hit the blunt nigga, it's a collision. Just like a Gremlin. We got some big joints in the air. We do not care. So we on the left. We smoking rap. So you need a tap. Let's go. The Z-Man. It's the best time for the season. Your own joint, no bleaching. I can just smash out a beat it. I'ma get mine from greedy. Y'all said you want me to eat it. I told her I'm vegan. Hey, y'all on super straight. I got the Mary J. That be my ace. You can add me to the race. Put on the gas, so get out the way. You coming last, you a disgrace. Go with my stash.
I don't know why that shit hated on me out of all people you could have hated on this earth. Like, it's other motherfuckers you could have hated on. But, anyways, we back in this bitch. And, yeah, that was not the only song that we had to play.
Yeah. Hey, yo, put the grass over there to safe, you know what I'm saying? Because we spinning these Jacksons. The Washingtons go to white, you know how that go.
I'm saying that's what this is all about, right?
clothes, bankrolls, and O's. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was about that till you start fucking up my live stream. Now it's about maintenance and tech. Somebody go get the manager. Oh wait, I am the manager. Motherfucker. Come on, I kind of want to listen to that song now that I just seen. We're gonna listen to a couple songs. Hopefully the internet don't keep fucking up, cause bitch, we lost 5 cameras. We lost 5 cameras right now when the internet decided to crash. That was not pleasant. It felt real empty in here.
Hollywood, you bitch, we ain't no clowns. Act loud and get right about the truth. Help the way I am, you gon' see me where I stand. Ain't no other side to the story, this a bad. This can't be the end. Hope it ain't the start. I love to sell this girl, I'll break you up all in your heart. Help the way I am, you gon' see me where I stand. Ain't no other side to the story, this a bad. This can't be the end. Hope it ain't the start. I'ma break your shit in two if you try to play my heart. Help the way I am, you gon' see me where I stand. Ain't no other side to the story, this love bad. Do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me?
This shit not loaded.
This can't be the end. Well, bitch, it ain't the start. I got love to sell this back. I'll break you up all in your heart. I can't help the way I am. You gon' see me where I stand. Ain't no other side to the story, just a bed. This can't be the end. Well, bitch, it ain't the start. You better watch your boy that fuck your bitch right in your car. I can't help the way I am. You gon' see me where I stand. Ain't no other side to the story, just a bed. You can fuck with me. Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? This can't be the end. No, bitch, it ain't the start. I got love to sell this back. I'll break you up all in your heart. I can't help the way I am. You gon' see me where I stand. Ain't no other side to the story. This a bad. This can't be the end. No, bitch, it ain't the start. I'm tryna whoop they pockets by the check. I'm on it hard, bitch. I got bills to pay. Goddamn, you gon' see me where I stand. Ain't no other side to the story. This a bad. Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Put your game on pause. Pistol in my bra, then the bra strap popped. I had to hide it in my drawers. Bitch, I almost got caught. I was at the fucking job. I couldn't have my shit. I had no car out in the line. I almost dropped my shit in school and shot my laptop. Had to leave it with my mom. Sometimes I'm sorry, God and mom. I can't help the way I am. You gon' see me where I stand. Ain't no other side to the story. This love bad. Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? Why do you think you can fuck with me? This can't be the end. No, bitch, it ain't ain't the start. I got love for sale, it's right. I'll break you off all in your heart. I can't help the way I am. You gon' see me where I stand. Ain't no other side to the story this up. This can't be the end. No bitch, it ain't the start. I'ma break your shit in two if you try to play my heart. I can't help the way I am. You gon' see me where I stand. Ain't no other side to the story this up.
Keep dropping weed on the ground. That's okay. We're gonna kick off right now with JT Gutter, y'all. Cause we was almost done with the first blunt. Then we're gonna be able to smoke and chill and check the news. As for right now, y'all, this is JT Gutter, Checkers Not Chess. Chess Not Checkers, y'all. This is on YouTube.
Let your next move be your best move. This is chess, not checkers, all meant to. Play the hand I was dealt to finesse you. Keep a poker face, can't let your right know what left do. Niggas talk that tough shit, but won't bust shit. Cause they in love with who won't fuck them. You might have it all nice, car, but no nuts. It's crazy how a nigga think he mom, but a punk bitch. Yeah, I don't do no talking, I just rush in and dress. Anybody with a problem never runs, that was squeezy K. But was taught to move in silence, we ain't seen a thing. I bet the game, you ain't a wolf, you a sheep with trade. A weenie check, I feel no man, that still be the same. Nigga, I die for my respect and put my pride to the side over weak shit. Push your whole line in the field playing defense. A shot from this bay water, testing, get seasick. Yeah, let your next move be your best move. This is chess, not checkers, all meant to. Play the hand I was dealt to finesse you. Keep a poker face, can't let your right know what left do. Yeah, let your next move be your best move. Let your next move be your best move. This is chess, not checkers, all meant to. Keep a poker face, can't let your right know what left do. Niggas serpents out here, call them field skills. The ones who perpetrate for some music, see they real fake. Latching leech up on you when you feel safe and try and going for the kill. They steal your middle line, but you reveal the plate. It's when they strike now, learn to conceal your game. Or catch a strike down. Once they start to steal and hate, you gon' find out. Niggas to the pen and 40, put your lights out. Let your next move be your best move. Gotta dish you easy like a motherfucking chess move. Keep your options open, mind clear like the rest of it. Ain't self-efficient, they depending on the next go. Man, but I'm thankful for those who let you. Money for food, your kids' clothes when your rent due. Stuck in my old way, but I attempt to change for myself and not change cause you said to. Yeah, let your next move be your best move. This is chess, not checkers, all meant to. Play the hand I was dealt to finesse you. Keep a poker face, can't let your right know what left do. Yeah, let your next move be your best move. Let your next move be your best move. This is chess, not checkers, all meant to. Keep a poker face, can't let your right know what left do.
Oh yeah. Is y'all ready to smoke? Well, I feel like y'all was ready to smoke.
It's just different.
Baby, we on the daddy. What's happening though? on, y'all ready? Yes, honey. Is y'all ready? Good morning, y'all. Good morning, y'all. I hope y'all ready. We about to bring it steady. Hand steady. Oh. Baby, I'm gonna roll another swisher. Roll another swisher. I keep talking, but this site don't even get the picture. They said my marathon stream won't count, and I don't get a witness until I pass a test. Go ahead. Bitch, I need some more bread, and you playing. I be aiming all at your forehead. If you don't get to moving like a moped, scurry on your little way. I don't give a fuck what y'all hating bitches have to say. Not today. I got y'all bitches all up in my way. But then y'all start tripping like y'all don't want to catch a fade. If I ever call your bluff and I got something to say, to get y'all ass to move, to get y'all ass to break, to get y'all ass to move, to work and get paid. Hey, get y'all ass up, mask up, gas up. Just too much to pass up. Trying to get this cash up. Bitch, I got a whole nother blender roll, but I don't really feel like it. I'm not really comfortable. I got hella work to do. Ready to smoke now, and this internet keep fucking up. And I don't know how, and I always buy brand new internet every day. I feel like I should be able to sue them and get my money back for the work and the shit that I missed out on. Cause the shit was their mistake, not mine. I just make the chase, my grind, each and every day. Y'all bitches pump faking with the fade away. Y'all bitches still fucking with the paper plate. I ain't got nothing to eat, I'll pay for plates. Y'all don't even know what the fuck my table weighs. Wait. About to roll up just one more time. Hopefully one more time gonna be enough. About to roll up. Focus on grind. Focus on my grind. Shit is too tough. We just too good, bitch. We need some new nuts. Bitch, I'm too hood, baby. We don't do hugs. Fucking weirdo. Got 37 messages in 5 minutes. I'm not finna check all that. Y'all ready to smoke? Hold on, y'all, because my shit is tripping and I'm just not Alright, y'all. I think we did enough of that. We did a few songs like we said we was. We did about 20 minutes of songs. We did have some technical difficulties, so we're gonna go ahead and hop back into the stimulus check updates. Y'all ready?
Welcome back, YouTube. And yes, you read that title right. The Republicans may yet again work with the Democrats amidst the new COVID-19 variant. More on that one later. Also, we have updates on two things related to the number 4. And it's not just the 4th stimulus package that a lot of us need, but even a 4th vaccine shot. And also, should holiday gatherings be avoided even if you're vaccinated? Pretty exciting stuff happening all around the world these days, and we are here to help you guys digest it all. And if you like this video, do me a favor, go ahead and tap that like button, show your boy some support, and also join the family, join the financial freedom family, and hit the subscribe button, and be sure to hit that notification bell as well so you are notified as soon as I release new videos. The Omicron variant has been spreading like wildfire throughout the US and the world, and today it actually accounts for 73% of all new cases right here in the country, a mind-boggling number as the Omicron variant came into the country somewhere around Thanksgiving. Now, why is it so rapid in spreading, unlike the first variant or the Delta variant? Now, to put this into perspective, the Omicron variant's infection rate is twice that of the Delta variant, and get this, about 4 times faster than the original virus. The Flash has nothing on this for you comic books fans. Now, although this is based on a small group study, if you do look at the numbers around the world, Omicron is now set to be the majority variant around the world. Kind of crazy how quickly this is happening. Dr. David Pride of UC San Diego, specializing in infectious disease, he was quoted to saying, quote, "Just looking at the current situation, epidemiology, we know something is way different this time around. With so many unvaccinated people around the world, it was just a matter of time before we'd see a mutated version of the virus that is just getting better at infecting vaccinated people. We know this disease spreads via people, thus the only way to be pretty sure you're not going to get it is to not be around people," end quote. Now, this is actually very relevant to top US infectious expert Anthony Fauci's comments for the holiday season. Fauci said that,
now, one of the questions that Dr. Walensky and I and Dr. Murthy and others get asked very frequently is that right now, as we get to the Christmas holiday and the New Year's, would it be safe for individuals who are vaccinated, who are boosted, to get together with family in the setting of the home? The answer to that is yes. An extra level of protection would be the testing that Dr. Walensky measured. But I want to make sure this is not confused with going to a large gathering. And there are many of these parties that have 30, 40, 50 people in which you do not know the vaccination status of individuals. Those are the kind of functions in the context of COVID, and particularly in the context of Omicron, that you do not want to go to. So to the extent possible, we urge you to stay away from those situations that could put you at a higher risk.
Now, it seems like while less serious cases have been recorded with the Omicron variant, the rise in cases due to it is still a huge threat to our normal lives. But a study published in the Journal of American Medical Association has found that fully vaccinated people that are infected with this new variant could, in return, develop a super immunity to the virus. That would be such a flex if you were to think about it, though. Kind of like, hey, are you vaccinated? Yeah, I'm also immune to the virus now that I got infected with the Omicron variant. Kind of how that works, or at least the way I'm reading it. Now, this is not a sign for you to go try and get infected with the Omicron variant, of course. And it says that fully vaccinated individuals stand a better chance against this virus. And as per the study, antibody levels rose to 1,000% compared to the second dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Assistant professor of molecular microbiology and immunology of the OHSU State of Medicine said that, quote, "You can't get a better immune response than this. These vaccines are very effective against these severe diseases. Our study suggests that individuals who are vaccinated and then exposed to a breakthrough infection have super immunity," end quote. Dr. William Schaffner of the Vanderbilt University Medical Center had this to say.
They are being called the super immune. Sarah Kenningsberg and Jeremy Clayton were both double vaxxed and boosted, but they are also breakthrough cases, having been diagnosed with COVID. Now, experts say they have achieved super immunity.
Super immunity refers to those people who are double vaxxed and boosted and then get a minor Omicron infection. Their immune system is really revved up, and they should be, after that, extraordinarily well protected.
And although individuals with super immunity are supposedly more protected than the normal individual are, there are still things that must be considered.
If you had that Omicron infection, you can still give it to others. So if that happens to you, keep your social distancing. You don't want to be a dreaded spreader.
Is it just me, or doesn't he sound like Stan Lee? And he's talking about this super immunity? Somebody call the Avengers, right? But what are your thoughts on this? Are you vaccinated? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below, because we always take the time to read through them. Now, with this news coming out, are you guys hesitant in going out to any more holiday gatherings? If you're unvaccinated, is this news encouraging you to get vaccinated? Sound off in the comments down below. Now, speaking of vaccinations, how many doses have you had? 1, 2, a booster shot along with those 2? Move over, because Israel has now pushed to offer a 4th dose for those who are over the age of 60. Yep, you heard that right. It's a 4th dose. Now, you may be wondering if this is due to the new variant, and they have alluded that this is partly the reason for the decision, but also the move comes from the results that the last booster shot that they had turned in favorable results against the Delta variant. Now those booster shots may be weakening, and this is now kind of a precautionary move to keep the fight up against the virus, especially with the new Omicron variant going around. The 4th shot would be the second booster and will be available to those over the age of 60 years old, and for those who are in the healthcare sector, further giving them added protection in the long run. Now, while the 4th dose is still awaiting confirmation from
what you mean?
Director
Hit me up.
Ash before
I'll be on my live stream every day. I don't do no weird questionable shit. Like, I'm solid. This is my social security number. I filed taxes on it.
The decisions are publicized, but I want to point out one important thing that has happened tonight. I gave an order to immediately prepare for a 4th vaccine. Also, in this wave, as we did with the booster in the Delta, we intend to be active and groundbreaking and do everything to win. The world will follow us. The move is pretty bold and should raise some eyebrows around the world, but at the end of it, the results will speak for itself. How many doses do you think is going to be enough to turn the wave on this virus? Are you willing to get more than 3 doses of the vaccine you initially had? Comment down below. And with all the talks on how the Omicron variant is spreading and people needing more vaccine doses, it's best to say that working towards easing hardships should be the #1 agenda for any government, in saying that the first stimulus package for the United States passed with a vote of 96-0. An incredible feat wherein Republicans and Democrats worked hand in hand to provide the first stimulus checks to the nation. And now another bipartisan decision may come in the new year, with comments from Republican Senator Tom Cole when asked if more resources should be provided to help fight the virus in 2022. He had this response, quote, "My guess is yes. I think if you actually look at what's happening, that's probably, spot on if anything. So yeah, I think so. And it ought to be bipartisan," end quote. Cole noted that the last virus relief package was passed by the Democrats on their own, around $1.9 trillion. Having both sides of the Senate working together would be a welcome change, especially with the situation of the Democrats, where not everyone's actually agreeing with the Build Back Better bill. Joe Manchin.
Although at this point, how soon can both sides agree to a bill? And will it be on time to help those who are truly in need during this time? With the
But
economy
I'm really
trembling and news
broadcasting.
spreading
I don't
through
know why it's
variant,
acting like I'm
essential
not.
that they work as one. And as of this writing, federal pandemic aid
Bro.
is running dangerously low.
They said they had an agreement on $1.75
What the fuck is
trillion
they doing?
bill, and the president told you all that you could trust him. He could bring Joe Manchin along. How do you work with the White House moving forward?
Well, I think, as I said earlier, when we were in negotiations, originally the entire country's infrastructure plan was in one bill. And this bill could be passed with all Democratic votes. It was a decision to separate these two bills and just break apart one part which was this quote unquote bipartisan infrastructure plan that has a lot of fossil fuel subsidy giveaways, of which Manchin is a known ally of the fossil fuel industry, and then separate the extension of child tax credits, separate the real actions that are going to protect us from climate change into the Build Back Better Act. Now, when that decision to separate and to advance the bipartisan infrastructure bill happened, some of us took umbrage with that. And the president did say that the that the Build Back Better Act was promised, and that, he's got it. And we said, with respect to the president, no one can really promise a Manchin vote. And so we need to really figure out what the solution is, because at the end of the day, when the clock strikes midnight on New Year's, we're talking about millions of families in the United States having their child tax credits expire. The president made the announcement just this past week that he does not have an intention on extending the student loan deadline. And both of these things, in addition to the untenable situation of voting rights in this country, all three of these things are completely unacceptable. And so what we really need to do is have folks that really, our leadership needs to step up. And I think that we can do that. I do not believe that the situation is beyond repair, but it's going to take a different kind of thinking to get out of it than it did to get into it.
The budget was set around $6 trillion last 2020 when the fight against the pandemic started. A huge chunk of the fund was used to help small businesses, providing of stimulus checks, lifelines, and assistance for airlines to help cushion the economic blow, among other things. And just how much has been used, you asked? About 86% of pandemic-related funds have been released. And with a little bit of math wizardry, that would leave a total of 14% left. Now, here's the fun part. Do you know how many zeros are in a trillion? No, I'm just kidding. But for the federal pandemic fund of at least $5.7 trillion, that would be 11 zeros. 11. So how much would be left? Around $798 billion to maybe $800 billion would be left out of this whole $5.7 trillion initial fund. Now, if you think about it, that's still a staggering amount. But once you realize that 85% of the 330 million citizens of Americans receive checks, it's easy to see how fast the fund is being depleted. Now, given that and how inflation has skyrocketed and is now the highest in almost 40 years, it really doesn't help the case. Now, if you guys follow the channel, this is one of the main points of Senator Joe Manchin and not backing the Build Back Better bill. He's afraid of inflation. Restaurants in particular are getting hit hard. They're probably even getting hit the most with this variant. Less and less people are opting to eat out, and this means less business for them, especially small restaurants that rely on more foot traffic. Now, with the Build Back Better bill hitting a wall for the meantime, these restaurants are waiting for any kind of relief that may come, and we're hoping as well, because we don't want more businesses closing in this pandemic. My advice, and this is mainly for small businesses that need it, order from them. If you're at a much better place financially, it won't hurt to help those who are in need. And if they don't offer deliveries, then maybe you can just take food out. Just take every precaution with the new variant. But if you ask me, the pandemic, it shouldn't take the goodness out of our hearts. It's the holiday season. Let's keep the spirit going, and even if it's just for a small amount of time. But now that you've decided to help your fellow man, I'm here to help you guys realize something historic. Mortgage rates are shockingly low, something that hasn't been a trend in the last 10 years. Now, as of December 24th, the average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage is 3.23%, with an annual pay rate of 3.37%. And with all the mortgage plans also following suit, and you realize that you can save thousands of dollars by refinancing, well, you know, I would probably go for it. In fact, I did save thousands of dollars per year. So if you're a homeowner, this should basically be a no-brainer. We all need to save somewhere. And again, this is a historic number for mortgage rates. Everyone who's affected should definitely consider working on lowering their APR, also known as their annual pay rate. Now, if you look closely, the change in numbers is not that much, as low as 0.01% in difference. But if you take that into account, the amounts you're paying and the length of time that you continue to pay for it, it can be significantly different. It could save you thousands of dollars at the end of your mortgage term. And it also lowers your mortgage payments. Isn't this good news for you? Now, the question is, if this is good news and you actually did save, I don't know, let's just say you saved $100 a month or a couple $100 a month after refinancing your mortgage payment, what would you use the extra couple $100 per month on? I'd love to hear from you guys. Drop me a comment down below. Would you invest in something? Would you save for something bigger? I do know of a cheap investment that you can do right now, and it's invest in watching our videos every single day. Why? Because I'm here and because we bring you guys the best news that you deserve, be it a stimulus package, pandemic updates, ways to save money, ways to make money online, and just about anything that we report on that we know would enrich your life for the better. So if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. I really appreciate the support, but I'm pretty much guessing that you've probably already liked this video because you really liked it. But anyway, seriously, go ahead and subscribe, join the family, join the financial freedom family, hit the subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and never miss any of my future videos. And most importantly, comment down below. Your opinion matters to me. I want to hear from you guys. Anyway, I will see you guys on the next one. Take care and be safe.
Yeah, we heard a lot of talking Republicans thinking about supporting the stimulus bill, but again, no official updates. We did have a page open earlier at whitehouse.gov, but it looks like our internet is not going to let us complete all
stimulus from Democrats and Republicans. Could this be for real? Let's find out in today's stimulus package update and daily news update. Omicron could be the real game changer, as it's getting both Republicans and Democrats finally talking about a possible new stimulus bill early next year. Bill Gates, who initially predicted the pandemic way back in 2014, is now saying that Omicron could be the worst part of the pandemic and that this could finally be over in 2022. We'll also hear from some top economists talking about the U.S. economy in 2022, Senator Joe Manchin, and the Build Back Better bill. Got a lot to cover today. Definitely a jam-packed video as always, so be sure to stick around to the very end. That's right, you guys, all the hottest stimulus and the latest news only here on the Ron Yates channel. Just consider this your one-stop shop for everything stimulus, U.S. economy, inflation, and of course your favorite online business ideas. All you need to do is hit the subscribe button now, join the financial freedom family, and ring that notification bell so you're notified as soon as I release new videos and content. So you guys all set? Before we jump into it, I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to be doing a giveaway. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for it. You guys had a lot of fun during the last giveaways. So on this one, several winners will be chosen. Later in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys exactly how to enter to win. So make sure you watch this video to the end. Also, prizes could be anywhere from gift cards up to $1,000, PS5s, Walmart, Amazon gift cards. So definitely stick around.
Hey everybody, they're not giving me credit for everybody that I added.
Right, let's get into this.
In the top bar, and they're not giving me credit for streaming. They keep acting like my profile's under review.
Taking over the U.S. You've probably heard me talking about Democrat representatives.
But we've been streaming over 30 minutes already, and I'm not about to let them keep disrespecting me like that and discrediting me like that. I have other apps to stream on. We're about to let go of library right now
due to the pandemic-related reasons, cancellation of federal student loans, cancellation of housing-related debt for past due rent and for mortgage payments. Also, the reinstatement of an eviction moratorium and foreclosure moratorium, as well as renewed funding in education, among other provisions. Now, this letter also points out that the last stimulus package that they actually passed way back in March provided stimulus checks, an enhanced child tax credit, unemployment assistance, direct aid to states and municipalities, nutrition assistance, housing aid, tax credits for families and workers, investments in education, childcare, and not to mention health insurance subsidies. But most of these programs have deadlines for when they're going to run out of funding, and the pandemic continues to persist. And most of them, they're already out of funding already. Now, this is why Bowman says, quote, "The pandemic has and will continue to change us for years to come. We need to take action now. And the surest way to do that in Congress is to exercise our power of the purse and direct much needed funds to our children, families, and communities," end quote. So yeah, that's the Democrat side of things. Now, a real exciting part here is that at least one Republican is saying the exact same thing. Yes, a Republicans actually on board saying the same thing as Jamal Bowman. So on the other side, you have Republican Representative Tom Cole, and he said just this week that Congress may move on legislation early next year to provide more resources to tackle the rising number of pandemic-related cases amid the spread of the Omicron variant. Translation here, they're opening up the idea for more stimulus considering how bad Omicron is looking. Now, in a recent interview, Cole was asked whether or not Congress would actually respond to the increasing case count in a bipartisan manner. His answer, quote, "My guess is yes. I think if you actually look at what's happening, that's probably, spot on if anything. So yeah, I think so, and it ought to be bipartisan," end quote. So what do you guys think about this? Could it finally be time that we see some actual stimulus packages coming from both Democrats and Republicans? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Drop me a quick comment. Now, one thing's for sure, the Omicron variant really isn't kidding around here. As White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci said, quote, "It's going to be tough. We can't walk away from that. We can't, because with Omicron that we're dealing with, it is going to be a tough few weeks to months as we get deeper into the winter." End quote. Now, we're already seeing the US and Europe hit very hard by this. France reported more than 100,000 new pandemic-related cases on Christmas Day, the first time that the country recorded six figures in a single day. So they're breaking new records in terms of new pandemic-related cases. Now, the UK also reported a record high for daily cases last week. As for the US, pandemic cases are also rising. Our average is 148,000 new cases a day over the past week. This is 23% higher than a week ago, and basically back to the levels that we were last seeing back in mid-September, right around the time when the Delta variant was on the news. Now, we also recorded 1,324 pandemic deaths a day over the last week, 11% higher than a week ago. Bill Gates predicted a global pandemic of this scale way back in 2014. And now he's saying that this Omicron variant could be the worst of it. And it also could mean we may see an end to this pandemic in 2022. Now let's read some of the highlights from his Twitter thread. Quote, "Omicron is spreading faster than any virus in history. It will soon be in every country in the world," end quote. Now, if there's good news here, it's that Omicron moves so quickly that once it becomes dominant in a country, the wave there should last less than 3 months. Now, those few months could be bad, but I still believe if we can take the right steps, the pandemic could be over in 2022. I know it's frustrating to go into another holiday season with this pandemic looming over us, but it will not be like this forever. Someday this pandemic's going to end, and the better we look after each other, the sooner that time will come. Very true words, guys. Here he is talking about this in a recent interview.
You recently said that we can control the COVID pandemic. You said you hope by next year. How?
We're getting more vaccine coverage over time. So the peak impact could go down quite a bit.
I got some money on here, so I don't want to get off. I mean, I got a couple diamonds on here, so I don't really want to get off, but they're not giving me my credit for live streaming right now. And that's really fucking making me mad.
Completely disrupting things like education.
Despite the fact that we are continuing to see these new variants, not
Well,
least the most recent.
There's still some evaluation being done. What are the health impacts? It's clearly very transmissive. We're working on adaptive vaccines.
150
There's a
viewers.
very good chance we'll
I
move
hung
those.
up on Tango. We had like
Looks some of
150
their
viewers.
foods are not affected.
Thank
So
you, thank
hurrying
you,
to
thank
get
you.
those out will make a lot of difference in the death reduction. But even if we have to make a special vaccine and get that out, I don't think in 2023 we'll have the level of disruption we had, for the first 3 years of this.
I hope you guys caught that part there. The pandemic can be over in 2022. Gates elaborated on this in a blog post last week. Quote, "At some point next year, the pandemic will become an endemic disease in most places.
Oh,
If the
yeah, we're
pandemic
up
becomes an
7 to
endemic illness,
71
a disease of relatively low severity that constantly circulates throughout certain parts of the world, the sickness's pandemic phase could come to a close in 2022, end quote. Medical experts are also saying the same thing. Dr. Anthony Fauci agrees that the pandemic may never completely vanish. An epidemiology expert from UCLA said, quote, "It's very unlikely that we're ever going to be able to get rid of COVID," end quote. So instead, the pandemic's basically going to be like the flu. The flu constantly circulates in the background, rising and falling seasonally every single year. People get vaccinated, they get flu shots on a regular basis against it, helping them build up multiple layers of immunity over the years. Experts are basically saying that this virus here will probably follow a very similar pattern. Quote, "Like most respiratory viruses, it's probably going to be worse during cold months and less so during warm. end quote. Now, that's kind of good news, but I hope our lawmakers realize it's still another whole year that people are going to need help with. Am I right, guys? And here's the proof. Economists are saying our economy is still going to take a big hit from Omicron. Over at Moody's Analytics, they're saying, quote, with Omicron looming and DC in disarray, risks to the economic recovery next year are not inconsequential and are rising, end quote. They also said that they're likely to downgrade their U.S. economic forecast. Now, according to this, the caseloads will be so high that, quote, hospital systems could be overwhelmed. Once that happens, that disrupts business. Governments just have to start shutting businesses down or reimposing social distancing rules and restrictions on travel, things that make it more disruptive to the economy, end quote. Here's our chief economist talking about it right here.
Looking ahead and the impact on your outlook for 2022, you told my colleague Matt Egan this: with Omicron looming and DC in disarray, the risks to economic recovery next year are not inconsequential and are rising. Are you changing your economic outlook now for 2022, Mark?
Okay, yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I think Omicron is already doing significant damage to the economy. You can see it in spending on credit cards for travel and restaurants. Of course, you know, we've got all kinds of anecdotes. The National Hockey League has suspended play. We can see what's going on Broadway. So, yeah, unfortunately, I do think we're going to see a much weaker start to the year than I had thought before. Just to give you a number, to give some kind of context, you know, before Omicron was on the scene, I thought Q1, first quarter GDP growth, that's the value of all the things that we produce, would be strong. It would grow something like 5%, which is a very strong growth rate. But now, you know, I think it's probably going to be closer to 2%. And obviously, you know, we still need to see what else is going on with Omicron. It could be lower than that. So a lot of risk out there. And that's not even considering, you know, what would happen if we don't get any support from the Build Back Better legislation. If that doesn't become law, that also will have an impact on growth early in 2022.
That's really interesting, Mark. So and that's a big change in your forecast, down to 2 from as you said, you're expecting potentially nearly 5. And that's, you think, the impact solely because of what we've now learned with Omicron, that's not even factoring in the demise of Build Back Better?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I think the case study here for us is what the Delta wave did to the economy back in the summer of this year, the third quarter of this year. GDP growth before Delta, you know, expectations, including my own, were for a very strong quarter, 5-6% growth, and it ended up being about 2%. So Delta did a lot of damage to the economy back in the summer. And I think at this point, you know, I think we can at least expect Omicron to do as much damage, you know, this go around. The other thing to look at is what's going on in Europe, particularly the UK.
I don't know if I'm still in review or not.
They have been leading us by 3, 4, 5 weeks
it looks like I am
to the pandemic, the waves of the pandemic, and you can observe what's happening to their economy. And they are, you know, restricting business activity and other social forms of gathering, and you know, you can see the impact starting to gather here. So yeah, I think it's pretty clear we're going to see much weaker growth in the early part of the year, and you know, the risks are obviously pretty high here.
So that economic downgrade isn't even factoring in the Build Back Better bill yet. I think it's pretty clear what they're saying here. We need some Build Back Better stimulus ASAP. Economists also gave some choice words to say about Senator Joe Manchin's roadblock. The headline says,
they don't got
economists
enough money
question
for
the
us.
validity of Manchin's inflation fears on Build Back Better. So what Manchin's been saying is that he would vote no on the legislation, partly because of his concerns that some provisions of the stimulus bill might make inflation worse. Now, he also said that he had been clear early on in the negotiations that he was concerned about inflation. His exact words, quote, inflation is the biggest threat I think we have right now, end quote. Now, this is what economists are disagreeing with. Many economists believe that the Build Back Better Act's effects on inflation would be marginal, basically small enough not to even be noticeable. Now, according to one economy expert, quote, one shouldn't vote for or against the legislation based on the impact of inflation, end quote. Another one said, most of the inflation threat is virus related in the present, end quote, adding that roughly speaking about Build Back Better is not inflationary. At worst, one of them puts the possible inflation effect of the bill in the near term at about a few tenths of a percent, which would be a very small bump compared with the 6.8% jump in prices last month. This last one just plainly calls out Manchin, saying, quote, Manchin either fails to understand the inflation concerns or fails to understand the structure of the bill. Build Back Better, if it does anything to the economy, will be, most of it, several years hence, end quote. Worst case scenario, Build Back Better is inflationary and prices start rising too quickly. Quote, the Fed's going to lean against that.
Yeah, we have way over 100. We're closer to like 300 viewers for the stream. Just 90 on tag alone, y'all. Over 1,526 heart reactions.
We would be doing a giveaway. I'm so super excited.
Thank y'all for my
anyway,
money.
several winners will be chosen.
Also, 76 diamonds here now on Live Me. Also, 13,642 diamonds. We up about 100 diamonds for the stream. Thank y'all for my money.
All you got to do is go to the video where I talk about the top 6 online business ideas and side hustles that you can do with no money in 2022. Watch the whole video and comment the 3 of your favorite side hustles. That's all you gotta do. Just comment 3 of your favorite side hustles that we talked about in the video.
3 of my favorite side hustles
will be chosen. So just search
are not from your video, honey. My 3 favorite side hustles is selling food plates.
Many winners will be chosen. Just
giving
search
people rides like an Uber or a taxi.
Watch this video. The next winner could be you. The Build Back Better stimulus package. Democrats are talking about scaling it back to get it passed. Democratic lawmakers, lobbyists, and experts at think tanks, they believe that Manchin might be won over if the bill is revised to include fewer programs for a longer period of time. One advocacy group said, quote, that is the way forward here. Most of the party is starting to come around to that, end quote. Congressional Progressive Caucus Chair Pramila Jayapal said that cuts should be minimal as possible. Quote, in Congress, we will continue to prioritize legislative path for Build Back Better, focus on taking the current text of legislation passed by the House, keeping as much of it as possible, no less than the elements contained in the framework negotiated by the president and committed to by Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema some months ago. One news report said Manchin had provided the White House last week with a $1.8 trillion proposal that included universal preschool for 10 years, Obamacare expansion,
That's
and
one thing they keep going back and forth on, universal preschool.
Neither Manchin's office nor the White House have publicly confirmed the report. Another way to go about this would be to standalone bills for popular provisions in the bill. One is the child tax credit. This is one of the more popular features of the bill, and research has shown that it has a dramatic impact on child poverty rates. As a standalone bill, the messaging is clear and easy. There's a slim chance that Democrats will win a few Republican senators, but there's a big chance that they could do some political damage to the Republicans who would vote against it. Either way, something is better than nothing. Now, for our community members on Medicare, there's the expansion to include hearing aids, and there's definitely a broad base behind it, and it's easy to understand. It says here, it could be tough for a Republican senator to vote against it, but it won't be tough for Democrats to slam them for denying grandpa hearing aids. Other examples of popular provisions here, 4 weeks of paid leave and the $5,000 increase in electric vehicle rebates. They said President Biden can still have a win. In fact, he can have a series of wins if he moves away from the massive bills that contain everything but the kitchen sink and toward bills that are clear and easy to understand. But let's just hope that the American people win too. Let's stick close to all of this stimulus in our coming updates. For now, this was your stimulus package update and your daily news update. The Omicron variant getting Republicans and Democrats talking about a possible bipartisan stimulus bill. Pandemic
all my stocks, y'all.
And
all my stocks are going through now that it's 6:30
a.m. Lots more to look forward to.
I want to check them real quick. Let me go check my stocks real quick, y'all. I'll be right back.
Showing up, showing some love to the like button. I really appreciate that as well. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Till then, take care, guys.
All right, y'all. He was talking a lot about Republicans and Democrats trying to come to terms on a stimulus check package. Y'all, I invested $150. I have gained almost $8 in profit so far. I just bought like 7 stocks for $1 a piece. They all dropped 1 penny, but my 2 shares that I own a complete share of are up about 5%. I invested in Q Health. about one full share. My profit of that, my gain of that is about $2 already. These are just from a week ago. I'm up about $7, y'all. I got two major stocks that I thought was gonna be a huge benefit, but they're just kind of like, eh. I really want to invest the rest of this money into stock. It's only like $20 left, but I don't think that's enough to own a stock. Um, on my watch list. So if any of you have ever invested with me before, then you know that I learned my investment standards and procedures from Edward Jones and not Merrill Lynch. However, um, with these investment stock apps like Acorn, Stash, Cash App, and other investment stocks, yeah, Robinhood as well, you're able to buy and sell stocks any day the stock market is open, right? So you want to focus on stocks that are about to blow up for the season. Those are the ones who need your support, and those are the ones who are going to actually profit and return you dividends if you cash out at the right time. So, really quick, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is when the stock market opens, which is about 9:30 in the morning Eastern Central Time. But it is looking good. Again, I invested about $150. We're up past $158 right now as everything is getting calculated and changing. Hopefully, it just keeps growing. Um, man, I really want to buy whole shares of these stocks, but I just don't got. Um, See what I'm saying? 1,400 per share. Nah, bruh, I don't got that right now. But at least I know I have $1 invested in all the stocks that I want to watch. So if there's any change or increase of the market, I will get a notification. It's far from investing $50 to $100, but it is a start. Y'all, we're about to fade to the background and smoke. But before we do, we have one more video. Yeah, just one more. And it's very important, and I want y'all to watch it, okay? Here we go, y'all. Very, very important, y'all. 6:43 a.m. here on the West Coast, Northern California, Stockton, California, to be exact. Very important. I want y'all to pay attention. Um, I don't know why the fuck it opened that when I clicked on this, but that's technical difficulties for you when you own your own business and you're a minority or a woman. They put your priority at least. Yeah, we're about to hear a commercial about change.org and vote.org. Please do what you can where you can, um, whenever you can, because there's votes in elections every year, not just every 4 years. And you're about to learn some important information of why it's very necessary that we use change.org and vote.org as much as possible to our convenience. Okay. Thank y'all for being here, making me a top streamer.
We can fight the wealthiest lawmakers in America who support passive aggressive, secretive, and murderous oppression and killings of the Black community and the lower class working Americans and minorities here in the United States. They ignore issues, the misuse of government funding,
the homeless problems, and the spending in military and foreign wars. And they never fix any of our issues in regards to education, healthcare, or public housing. There are cities without clean water, communities without homeless shelters. Please visit vote.org to make a difference and register to vote. Please visit change.org to sign petitions that are led by attorneys, legal services, and law firms to open these cases and investigations. No more Trump secret police. Disband and defund ICE. Legalize immigration. No more kids in cages. Justice for Breonna Taylor. Justice for Vanessa Gillen. Shut down and restaff Fort Hood. Justice for Ahmaud Arbery, whose case is being considered a citizen's arrest when he was killed by two white men in regular clothes for jogging down the street while a third man filmed it. Justice for Jacob Blake. Justice for Elijah McClain. Justice for George Floyd. I encourage you to reach out to your state attorney general. If you are in one of the states that the 6 black men found hanging since the death of George Floyd was deemed a suicide by local law enforcement agencies. 2 in the state of California, 2 in the state of New York, 1 in Atlanta, Georgia, and 1 in the home of George Floyd, Houston, Texas high school football field. I encourage you to make a difference when and where you can. And if you are low on funds and low on health insurance, please visit mdsave.com to save on medical and hospital needs and procedures. My name is Cherry Franklin. I'm an artist and as well as a community organizer
and
activist. By accident. Because I believe that we should leave none out, leave none left behind. So nobody goes left and nobody gets picked off. There's no more going south. The only way we can fight oppression is to join together and rise above it, uplift each other and support each other. Thank you for caring about your community and for social distancing. Please make sure you share this message.
It's important, y'all. Do what you can, where you can, when you can. Thank y'all for being here. You're beautiful. Your soul is beautiful. Your energy is positive. You're important to me, your community, your family, and your friends. And I love y'all. Thank you for being here and making me a top streamer. And thank y'all for my money. I'll see the numbers growing and growing and growing. Y'all, if you don't remember, we was on Bigo Live and we hit over 80 diamonds on our account. More than once, honey, and our lives kept getting hated on and banned and shit. Y'all, please stop these apps and these fucking haters and trolls and these motherfucking closet freaks who have nothing better or positive to do with their time and energy besides sabotage others. Y'all, please do not let them win in this world. People like that wish to keep minorities and women down, not in a position of power or position of leadership. Especially when you build something from the ground up, they try and convince you you're not strong enough or smart enough to cultivate it, to mold it, to own it. You're the one who created it. Do not allow these people to do things to you or to your position or your business in life, honey. Do not allow it. Again, make sure you follow and subscribe Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and as well as register to vote at vote.org and sign petitions at change.org. Change.org for stimulus check, the amount of $2,000, and the justice for the say their names hashtags. If you type in say their name, say her name, say his name. Y'all, these are petitions and court cases that are ongoing for people who have died at the hands of law enforcement who do not have a voice to speak up for themselves, whether they were unarmed or mentally ill or even a minor. A child. Some of these people do not have a voice and they need yours. So please make a difference.
Vote.org to vote on politicians running for office, seat in office. Vote on propositions being written into bills and laws, as well as vote on community programs and community funding, business licensing, the types of business licenses available, legalization, and the amount of business licenses available in your city and your county, as well as homeless shelters, public housing, public transportation, after school programs, the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, free healthcare clinics and Planned Parenthoods, and so much more, y'all. This is all at change.org and vote.org. Y'all, thank y'all for being here again. We had an early morning session, 6 o'clock this morning. We started around 5. We gave Facebook and YouTube a good hour watching Ron Yates today. So y'all, make sure you subscribe and follow again. We're going to fade to the background and get on these beats and get into a hot box session.